message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
So I'm wondering if that high intensity shit, like you just told me, I didn't know if it was that bad for you. That it maybe.
Well, the thing is, it's like you have to like really work your way into it. Like you have to really like build up like a couple of months of going to the gym before like just jumping into that stuff. Because if you're not like, and you just jump right into that, it's like, I don't know. Do you ever just try and build a fence and you haven't like worked out? Like, dude, you're gonna be hurting for days. Like you're gonna be fucked up.
Right.
That's why I laugh whenever people are like, I'm gonna fucking fight all them zombies in The Walking Dead. I'm like, you can't, like, you're not, like, you're gonna be hurt because you don't do anything.
Right. Yeah, I was doing the kettlebell stuff.
You gotta be careful with that.
The kettlebell where you're holding as you walk up the stairs and jump down the thing, and then the box jump where you just have to test your ability to jump and land.
But this is just all things you do in New York City. That the kettlebell thing, that's just carrying your groceries up the stairs. The jumping thing, that's just winter trying to get from one curb over a puddle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you don't got to go to the gym. Just walk around the city. Jump on things.
Like Mario, turn them into coins. Have turtles shoot down the street.
Like, just that man punch that brick wall? Did any coins fall out? No, but I see his bones.
No, but a turkey appeared. What game are you playing? Oh, that's Castlevania. Different game.
Yeah, it was a cooked one, too. I don't know what it was doing in those walls.
Well, you found that strange, but the guy smacking a brick wall with a whip was totally okay?
Well, yeah, he had to get the turkey out. He had to rescue that turkey.
That makes sense.
No, Mario makes sense. Castlevania makes turkeys.
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is myself. Over in the upside down is Gittles.
I like the way you said hello this week. It was like, hello.
You're very loud as you're near that microphone.
What?
Yes, very loud as you get really close to it.
Is it louder now?
It's very basic and distorted.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll back away. Is this okay?
That's perfect. I was kind of, I saw that Seinfeld the other day where you're talking about the lady's stomach talking. Hello, hello, Elaine. Hello, Jerry. Welcome to the program. Phone lines are open. 651-SMITHERS. That's 651-764-8437. Follow us on social media across the board. It's Erik Nagel. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And do all that stuff as a kindness to us. Please and thank you, please.
Do us a good subscribe
thingy. There you go. Well, it's been a little while. Gittles, what's been going on in your neck of the woods, to coin a phrase?
Oh, you know, same old stuff. That summer heat is creeping in New York City. You know, we all like.
Is it heat or is it humidity?
It's the humidity. Like, I literally walked out of work into a wall of water. I was like, this is just disgusting. And then I got home and it was all gross. I had my windows open and the fans on. Because the thing is, I didn't put my AC in yet because it's up on a high shelf, and I just need one of my friends to come by to like help me out. But everyone's been busy,
right?
So I've just been doing like the fan and the window thing. But it's kind of brutal. So what I've been doing to escape the heat is go to the movies, and that's a fun thing to do.
That's a good place to do it. Or if I can offer a suggestion, you get a tent and you open the flap and you tape it to the open part of your refrigerator.
Yes, but see, last time I did that, the engine blew out, and then I had to go to the thrift store to get a new one, and they didn't.
Oh, because I would have done that, because I noticed it's cool in there.
It is cool in there. You can use the peas.
Right, to cool yourselves down. But you have that as an option in case, you know, some kind of freak heat wave comes in and you don't have your air conditioning in the window yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if that happens, I'm just going to go to work and sit in the freezer.
I used to do that in my high school days with the place that I would work. I used to like going to the freezer to get all the frozen products. A lot of people, even now, everybody's very temperature conscious, where they're always cold. Everyone thinks that being cold is the worst thing in the world. Being warm is okay. I love being cold. I hate being hot. I hate being
the worst.
Even room temperature is mildly annoying.
I would rather have to put on clothes than take clothes off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm that kind of person. I mean, I've also been fat my whole life, so that probably doesn't help. But also, yeah, I would much rather put on clothes. Like, that's like when summer's coming around, I'm like, oh, fuck, hoodie season's over. And I didn't do anything to fix my hoodie shape.
I know. And then you have hoodie shame. Because the hoodies have to go
I just
away.
wear it in the heat. In this humidity, I don't care. I just sweat. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's that new heat thing that Joe Rogan's been talking about. You know, that hot sauna. I just kind of wear a hoodie and sit in the sun because I'm poor.
You're sweating out your toxins?
Oh, yeah. Sweating it all out. And see me at the hospital.
And have you tried DMT?
Oh, every day of my life. It's the greatest thing ever.
No, but back in that old job, I used to go in the freezer to get the stuff all the time. And when nobody was looking, I would make a beeline right into there because I had a really beat up quilted flannel that I always had with me. So when you go spend some time in the freezer, even though we love the cold, the freezer is still a freezer. So if you have the quilted flannel on, you're perfectly fine. I've told the story many times on variations of this show about when I used to work at Walmart, where I worked in the back unloading the trucks for the dairy and the frozen section. And so when you would take the big pallets off the truck, they're all wrapped in cellophane. You'd deliver them to, their appropriate section. And sometimes if they were shorthanded, you had to cut open the boxes that had the milk and the eggs. And there was a dairy freezer section as well. So I would go in there and they had the big shelving units, those orange and silver metal shelving units. And they would go about 3 high. So you had to put stuff all the way up at the top if it was a later expiration date. Work your way from the bottom up to the top. I would go up there and I would build a hollow area where I would lay down cardboard so it looked like there were boxes there. But if you snuck up to that third shelf, you could go lay down and take a nap.
Eric, I need to learn so much from you. Just so much of your ways of just how to be lazy and hide it well. Yeah. Because the thing is, it's like you're lazy, but you're not, because you put so much work into the fact that you have to build this whole contraption just so you can not have to do something.
Oh yeah. It's very MacGyver it.
Oh, I should have a t-shirt with your face on it. Just do it the Erik Nagel way.
So I would go up there and take a nap. And the other place back in high school, the fast food place that I worked at, I would go and do stuff in the freezer. But I also would volunteer during the winter time to go out there and to either shovel snow, or if they had to do the garbage run or clean the parking lot. Because I would go out there, a pair of gloves, quilted flannel, headphones on. And I'm like, I'm going to go out here for about another hour and a half. Because nobody else wanted to do it. I always volunteer. I said, I'll go out there. No, we'll get someone else to do it. You are always going out there. We need you in here. For what? What do you need me in here for?
Yeah, what do you need me to do?
Yeah. Nobody wants to do that job, so you kind of need me out there, not in here. And I would go out there. I'd put on and back in those days, I was doing the old cassette tapes where I would tape morning radio, where I would tape Howard Stern and Scott and Todd and listen to them. I'd just throw the tapes on while I was out there.
Rod and Todd?
No.
Welcome, it's the morning.
Vote scab time. Do you love Jesus? Yes, I do.
Like breakfast?
That's wonderful. And then you hear, are you ready for a miracle? Dun, 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 dun.
God said to Moses, there's going to be a footy.
We should do a Scott and Todd parody with Rod and Todd.
I think you should. Rod and Todd parody.
Rod and Todd in the morning.
Yeah.
What's the station now? It's Caleb. No, there's still PLJ. WPLJ.
Yeah. PLJ. They are the new hosts. It's Rod and Todd. Dude, it's the perfect mashup.
I'll take them there.
Became a Christian network. You have to make Rod and Todd as the new Scott and Todd.
I'm going to work on a meme for that.
Do it.
Yeah, because all we have to do is take the old Scott and Todd production and just put something over Scott.
Yeah.
So, Rod and Todd in the morning.
Look, Todd is stupid and I'm with him.
Now mommy's stupid.
Sounds like a great show. I kind of want to listen to it.
It does. Rod and Todd in the morning. On Caleb. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the cold and the heat and the whatnot. The
freezer at my job is minus 30 degrees, so I can only be in there for 5 to 10 seconds before I start to get freezer burn.
You layer up and you go in there And if they're looking for you and they always find you in the freezer and they say, "What are you doing?" You just say, "I'm playing Day After Tomorrow."
Yeah. You guys are losing. I'm winning. 1,
that's a movie. 2, this is not Wendy's.
Brian, why did you cut open the porter and why are you sitting inside him? Now I'm recreating Star Wars.
This kid now you're turning into me, does everything but his actual job.
Yeah.
You're finding all these creative ways to not do what you're supposed to do.
I just look like Chunk in there with the dead guy.
I just remembered one other story from my time working at Walmart. So, because this was down in Florida, and I was working there part-time to get health insurance while I was doing radio down there. Because the radio stations at that time when I was working down at Clear Channel were not giving health insurance to unless you were a contracted employee, and I was not technically full-time. I was pretty much working above and beyond full-time hours, but I was only being paid as a part-time.
Yeah.
So I had to do the other job too just to cover for health insurance. And there were times where, depending on bad storms or hurricane season or whatever came around, that the store would lose power, right? So what you had to do in the case of that they lost power, if you worked in the food section, the dairy section, the frozen section, you had to seal the doors to the frozen section so everything that was in there is locked. Nobody opens the doors. It keeps things fresh for as long as possible. Same thing with the freezers in the back. For the dairy section, they would have eggs in a separate containment thing on the floor because you would lean down and pick it up, right? But it was refrigerated. So that since that's not locked or connected with doors or into the freezer rooms, you had to go out there and put cardboard and stuff over the goods so they didn't spoil. And then they're wrapping that thing too, right?
Yeah.
So I did that. The people who were unloading the trucks would go and help out. And then I realized there was nothing left for me to do. Because then they would say, well, we don't know when the power is coming back on. And then somebody would say from the sheriff's department that due to the storm or due to whatever reason, it's going to be hours before the power is restored. Well, there's no need for me to be here. And also, everything's down. There's no power. And they can't tell if I punched out or not.
Yeah.
So I went home.
Yeah, that's what you do. Just leave at that point.
I would. I left. I wrapped everything up. There was nothing. I didn't want to sit around for hours. So I left. And then the next day came, and one of the managers said, "What time did you leave here yesterday?" And I said, an understandable time. "How come you didn't punch out?" I said, "Because they still had the power outage."
Yeah, like how am I supposed to punch out?
So what was I supposed to do? I said, "I was supposed to tell you to come and do it today and tell somebody to alter it." And there were so many mid-level managers. There was a general store manager, and then there was all these middle managers. So when they started to say
career managers,
like
that's gonna be their whole life.
Yeah, so they're like, "Well, you didn't tell anybody." It's like, "No, I did." "Who did you tell?" "I told that person, but we were in the midst of all this going." Like you can blame confusion in a crisis situation like that, right? So I said, "Yeah, all I was supposed to tell you is what time I left, and the stuff wasn't back online, so they have to just manually correct it." So I went to the office. They manually corrected it. I left. I wasn't there all that time. There was no point of me being there.
No, you don't need to be there.
Yeah. What was I going to do? I was no use to anybody. And that still continues to this day. I'm no use to anybody. So, fun times.
Fun times indeed.
Anything else going on with you? So you were walking around, it was hot and humid.
Yeah, I went to the movies, and I saw that movie Ma.
Oh, right. Did we talk about that last week?
We talked about it because they came out last week.
We talked about the trailer, but you went to see it. How was it?
I went to see it. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I
good or bad? Is it a good bad movie or a bad movie?
It is it's like Gotti in the range of like how bad this is. It's like good enough.
Okay, so it's a good bad movie.
There's so much shit that makes no sense. It's not really like a horror movie until the last 20 minutes or so. Most of the movie is more of like, okay, that's weird. Where are these kids' parents? Shouldn't they be knowing this? Like, why isn't the liquor store concerned that this woman's buying $1,000 worth of liquor every night? Like, just like that kind of shit. Like things that just didn't make sense. But it was a flaming train wreck, and I highly recommend it to anyone who likes bad movies.
Now, I got to say this. So if you like watching this is what we categorize as a good bad movie. So
yes,
this is worth your time to watch it because it's so bad that you would enjoy it on a different level. Now, is it worth going to the theater to see this, or is it the kind of movie that you can wait till on demand and you'll enjoy it?
When I walked out of the theater, I said to my friend who I was with, "This is why MoviePass was invented." So, like, I would wait till it comes out on home video. If you want to go see it, go see it. I mean,
home video. Brought to
Eric.
Coming out on Coliseum home video. Call this 800 number now.
It's got the little static breaks when you hit play.
Just 3 installments of $12.99. Call now.
And you better hurry up now, because otherwise it's going to go into the vault and you won't see it again until our streaming service appears.
I used to, well, that's a Disney thing. But for those infomercials and the things that they would sell on television, I used to love, when I figured out how that whole scam worked, I used to love where they'd have the counter, the time counter on there counting down this, but better hurry now. This deal's only available for another 3 minutes. And like, wait, the commercial's almost over. So that 3 minutes must be now. And you're like, that's bullshit, because every time that commercial came on, that counter was back. And if you would go, I'm going to wait 10 minutes. And then if you called up, I guarantee you that they're like, oh, yes, that deal's still available, because they don't know what time that commercial aired and what market, where.
It's the Simpsons with the Homer with the microphone. He's like, oh, I got to call now to get the Rapmaster 2000. He calls him. He's like, do you have any left? And the guy's like, yeah, we got a few. And he looks into like an entire warehouse just filled top and bottom. Yeah. Well, that's how it is. That's how they get you.
Wasn't the Rapmaster? What was he ordering? Was it the weight? Oh yeah, it was the weight loss tape.
Oh, maybe it was the.
Remember, they sent him the vocabulary builder. Remember?
I didn't know, was that or the juice or
No, I think it was the weight loss tape.
You ordered a lot of shit from TV.
It was the weight loss tape, and then he's like, yeah, a few, and then they got the vocabulary builder. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was a different time.
No, I think it was the Rapmaster.
Oh, was this the Mr. Microphone thing?
Yeah, and he's like, looks in the factory, and she's like, yeah, they're all here.
Oh, okay. So wow, they did it a couple times.
Yeah, they did that a lot of times. That was a running gag. But I don't know, man. This movie it's so fucking weird that I just want people to see it so that they can see it and then they can understand what I'm talking about. Because there's just a spoiler. There's a scene where she ties up a dude to a bed and then slits his wrists so he'll bleed out, and then hooks him up to a drip of blood to give him new blood, and it's dog blood. This is the kind of movie we're talking about, dude.
Wow.
It makes no sense.
Spoilers, by the way.
And it's the fakest looking blood you've ever seen. Like, people get like stabbed, people get burned, and then instead of a burn mark, there's blood. It's like that stupid. And like, the blood is so bad that like when it's on the knife and it smears, it's like the cheap shit you'd get for Halloween.
Right.
You'd be pissed because you'd be like, that's not what blood looks like. It's all droplets and stuff. It's like it doesn't smear. It's just so bad.
Somebody on the production staff is like a film buff, really into old time way of doing movies, and he goes, do you know with Hitchcock they just use chocolate syrup and nobody knew the difference? That works perfect. Let's just say it's dog blood. Let's use chocolate syrup or some kind of raspberry preserve.
But it wasn't even that. It was straight up just the fake blood that you get in the bottle of Party City. Like, that comes in like the gallon jug. It was just that.
It has the bubbles on the top for no reason.
Like, it was like kind of clear when it was going in. Like, just, it was so bad. And just, the dialogue was terrible. Like, people just kept getting pissed off, but then going back to the same people that were pissed off like a scene later as if nothing happened. Like, it was just all over the place, and there was 2 Oscar winners in it, so they're going to be Razzie winners soon too. They're going for the reverse EGOT, like they're going to like, it's like the REGOT, because you got to add a Razzie. The REGOT.
That's awesome. Yeah, everyone. I have an EGOT. Well, I have a REGOT.
Yeah, I went to the Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
But you know what? The Razzies don't mean anything anymore, because remember, a couple of people started to accept them. And then it kind of just diffused the whole, the whole gag with the Razzies.
Yeah,
I don't think people view them as being, not that they were viewed seriously, but as far as the entertainment aspect of it, I don't even think people take it seriously anymore. Now it's just like, why are they still doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I still like the Razzies. I mean, I don't watch them. I look and see who wins.
Right.
But I see the movies when they're in theaters, and I'm like, well, if that doesn't win a Razzie, I'm going to be pissed.
REGOT. That's a great term.
The REGOT.
Yeah.
Total REGOT.
So
Get to the chopper.
You're saying,
yeah, definitely go see it. It's a train wreck. It makes, like I said, no sense. There's just weird plot points. Go nowhere. I got home and I was like, I need to see who directed this movie. And then I Googled it and I was like, oh, the guy who wrote and directed this movie was also the guy who was the bit cop part in this movie. Oh, that makes sense. Like, just, ugh.
Well, maybe it starts a new splinter genre of horror movies. Just like people purposely making bad horror movies, not because they were trying to make a good horror movie, but they're making bad horror movies on purpose just to be those good, goofy, bad movies.
Oh, no, they've already tried doing that. That's like old news. Like Sharknado is one of those things. You know what I mean? Like that's not like a new thing. I think there's going to be sequels to this. It only costs $5 million to make, and on the first day I checked the box office and it already made like $10 million. So it already doubled its money, and it literally just ends. It just ends, and like there's no resolution. So it's very easily set up that there could be sequels.
Okay, well, if you're saying like Sharknado's been done before, picture this. Here's the sequence for the Ma franchise. Ready? You have Ma, and then give it a year. All of a sudden, another weird trailer will come up, and it's called Mama. Right? That's 2. And then the third one is like they really have nowhere else to go. So they're like, well, we've jumped the shark. Wait, that gives me an idea. Mama Shark. do.
Oh, no.
It's like, well, they spent all that money for 3 movies just to make a bad joke.
Just for the joke.
Just for the joke.
I would give them a REGOT for that. They deserve it. Oh, but that would be terrible. You know what they need to do? They need to do a sequel and call it Pa, and then do a third movie and call it Ma and Pa. That's what they got to do. They got to do Ma, and then Pa, and then Ma and Pa. But it doesn't matter because none of this will ever like happen. It doesn't make any sense. Well, maybe she's married. I don't know. She has a kid for some reason. They don't explain that. Ma
and Pa can be like a new interpretation of American Gothic.
Ugh.
You know, on a farm, pitchfork, overalls.
But like
depression.
There was people in the theater, and it was weird because it was a really kind of interesting theater experience because most of the time the only thing you heard from people were like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense. And then there was like 2 girls next to me and they were watching the movie and they're like, one of them whispers to the other one, I think Ma is crazy. I'm like, that's why you came to this movie. Did you not see the trailer? That was the whole premise of coming to this movie, that Ma's crazy.
I think she's a black woman too. I'm not sure.
I think she's talking to you. Like it was so stupid.
And they look up at the screen and she's just staring back down at the screen like she is looking at you.
The dialogue, though, like the dialogue is so bad. Like the lead, Octavia Spencer, she plays like a vet tech, and there's the opening scene where she's in the vet office. She's just texting on her phone, and the other head vet comes by and she's like, "Are you texting on your phone again?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Why don't you shave the fucking dog?" It's like, whoa, like that got aggressive like really fast. Like it just tones changing. I don't know. Just go see it.
All right.
It still has higher ratings than the new X-Men that just came out. So
yeah, well,
that's saying something. And you know it's next on my list.
You're going to go see Dark Phoenix?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? It's got an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Whew.
And that movie was delayed for so long because remember the test screenings
so bad
said they were bad and they were going to do reshoots. Then they had to wait because Game of Thrones was still filming their final season. They had to wait and work around Sophie Turner's schedule and somebody else was working.
They ruined both endings.
I think McAvoy was doing the no, not Macklemore. James McAvoy was doing the M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Oh yeah, Split whatever it was.
Crazy, and They're Never Gonna Survive Unless. Oh, that's a Seal song. But they were doing all that. Then they went back to do the reshoots, and then the movie came out. That first trailer, everybody was kind of looking at it like, I don't think this looks that good. I'm not sure. And then
Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, the teaser that they put out, right? It looked like it was a very dark movie, and not by tone, just like it was shot very dark, right?
Well, it's called Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of dark. That's a mental
well-lit Phoenix.
That's a mental. moderate party lighting Phoenix.
Yeah. Magic hour Phoenix.
Yes.
We filmed it all at 6:30 when the sun was going down.
Deck lighting Phoenix.
Yeah.
All different kinds of Phoenixes.
Mood lighting Phoenix.
Yeah, all the different kinds of lighting Phoenix fixtures at Home Depot. That's a great tie-in. It's like X-Men at Home Depot, they really just don't know what to do with this franchise anymore.
Yeah. Where's the lumber section? Yeah, that's the Fantastic 4x4. And you go over there and he's got like some wood.
I need
Hacksaw Jim Duggan cuts it for you. We're just getting all the crossovers.
Yeah, the Human Torch right there.
The Human Torch. Yeah, he's in aisle 3 next to the citronella candles.
Yeah, can I get the soldering Iron Man, please?
Yeah, no, he died.
Oh. All right, well, I'm going to go to Lowe's then.
Yeah. All they have is Rob.
I lost my train of thought here.
It's okay.
Oh, well.
Trains suck.
So go see Ma.
Yeah,
I definitely want to go see that. I went, if we're going to do movies, we might as well just do them now.
Yeah, let's do it.
I went and saw Godzilla, the second in the reboot of the monster universe, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, I love this movie for the monsters.
Yes.
I did not love this movie for the human beings involved in the movie. Now, here's my problem. It's the same thing they keep messing up in every time they do a monster movie. A human element should only be used in these movies as the government, the military, some kind of organization, or like a specialty group, like a terrorist, an eco-terrorist thing, which is what they did in this Godzilla movie. But those kind of factions are what should be used as the human element to help advance the story and put the monsters in the positions that they need to be to fuck shit up. Right?
Yeah, like you just need the humans to every once in a while come on the screen and be like, oh no, he's mutating, and that's all we need, and then cut back to the monsters.
Or like, Godzilla's down, let's see what we can do. Send out that new sonic impulse that we've been working on. Oh no, we pissed the other things off. There it goes Las Vegas,
Yeah, and then another 30 minutes of monster. Like, you don't need any more humans after that.
That's where, those are the only type of human elements that you need, or some scientist figuring out what the fuck's going on to help advance the story. What you don't need is a separated family where the distraught, newly sober father is trying to rekindle the relationship with the daughter, who happens to be the daughter of the other scientist going along with this eco-terrorist plan to get all the Titans to fuck everything up on the planet. And then I gotta save my daughter. And then all of a sudden there's a military helicopter just readily available for him to fly into downtown, whatever city's being destroyed. And they get off and he's now at ground zero for where these monster shit's going on. They're running through the street, trying to go into an apartment or a house, trying to save her and get her out of there. Like this kind of shit. Like, you don't need this in the movie. All the cool shit's going on in the background. Like, now you're only just seeing feet and rubble as stuff's going on. I don't care about if this kid lives or dies. I don't care about the people in there. Let them all die. I just want to see cities destroyed.
Chaos.
Yeah, just utter chaos going on. Just shit going on in the sky, the oceans, the land, everything just getting all kinds of messed up. That's what you want in the movie. And every time they would get really involved with it, where Godzilla and King Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon flying thing, would start fighting with each other and going into it. Then it cuts back to the helicopter, like, oh, will these soldiers get out of here? Because one of the scientists is with them. While all the fighting's going around, where this helicopter is in Antarctica and it's just laying there because it can't start, and the monsters are fighting all around it. Just get away from the fucking... Somebody step on the helicopter. Be done with it. Crush the helicopter or just fly it off the cliff. Let them die in the icy depths of the ocean and just focus on the monsters. And when they did, it was great. It looked amazing. The human element kept ruining the movie to the point that I was getting so frustrated and annoyed. I was loudly going, what? Like, I was just constantly grunting, just saying, this is horrible. Let the fucking monsters fight. And when they did, if somebody can do a re-edit and show that on YouTube somewhere, where you take that shit out of there. Yeah, something like that. Or, look, even a 30-minute movie where it's just all the fighting together, I'll pay the money to watch that rather than the hour and a half, 2 hours of, the father trying to redeem himself after their other child died and nobody could get over it, and he's trying to rekindle his relationship with his estranged daughter. No one cares.
Yeah. You know what relationship? Like every person your estranged daughter knew just died. Like she's gonna need so much emotional support because like monsters just killed everyone she knew that like it's gonna take a little while to probably fix your problems with
right. But it was
also like were the monsters cool at least? Were there like 13 or 14 or whatever there was of them, or were they all popping out of volcanoes? Like what was good? What was the best monster?
You didn't see all of them, and the noise that you're hearing right now is our buddy Randy over at NECA Toys. Gave me some of the new Godzilla products because NECA has official licensing for the movie.
That's awesome.
I know you can't see it, but I'll put photos up on Radio on Instagram.
Maybe I can see it. You're just not holding up to the camera.
No, I'm talking about the audience. So Gittles can see that there.
I can't see that.
That's Rodan.
Oh, yeah, it kind of looks like Rodan.
Right.
What is he doing? Is he carrying a giant flaming ice cube with his dick?
Yes, there's a giant flaming ice cube on his dick. No, what it is Rodan comes out of a mountain that all of a sudden is a volcano. Okay. And when he rips the top off the mountain, Rodan's coming out. There's the fire and the lava and everything shooting out there. And because he's a fire element titan, he lives in the volcano. So he nests on the top of an active volcano. Oh, so that's what that was the volcano and the lava. And then this thing here is Godzilla, which
that's cool.
I saw in the theater.
I like his spines. His spines look awesome.
Yeah, I heard in the theater, and then I saw it online. People saying Godzilla got fat, and I said
he is a little pudgy. He's been eating a lot of people.
Well, he fucked shit up in this movie.
Yeah, why was he in like Godzilla jail? Like, how did they do that part? Remember, they were like, we got to get Godzilla.
Was he? He wasn't in.
And then he like rises out of the ocean and doesn't just kill those people immediately.
So all of this is spoiler stuff. So if you didn't read the description, that's your own problem.
People stop listening to it.
So here's the thing. So Godzilla, they were tracking him. They had a base underwater in the South Pacific.
Yep.
And they've been trying to track Godzilla because nobody's seen him since the attacks in San Francisco, which was the first movie. And all of a sudden they were getting sonar pings. And they started to realize that it was Godzilla swimming under the ocean, right? When he swims, he turns into like a big, long rectangle, right?
Yeah.
And he just swims right there, but he's very fluid. Like, he can move around super fast.
Godzilla, yeah.
But I'm saying in the ocean, he can do stuff that he wasn't doing on land. And so he was just tracking stuff. He was looking for something, and they didn't know what he was looking for. And then that's what led to the Titans and finding King Ghidorah, which is what he was looking for. So as they're going through the story, they decide that, well, these Titans are causing all these problems, and for some reason King Ghidorah can control all the other Titans except Godzilla, and he's controlling them to all rise from their locations on the earth and start destroying everything in their areas. So Godzilla...
Like, why? What was his motivation?
I'm getting to that. So Godzilla then has to go and stop him because it's now like a battle for who's going to be the alpha of all these Titans, right? So they were trying to figure out King Ghidorah's story. It's like, why all of a sudden, if Godzilla was the alpha, why is King Ghidorah here? And they can't figure out what the fuck's going on. And while they're fighting, Ghidorah and Godzilla are fighting, they decide, this is where the military comes in, that they have an opportunity to launch nuclear devices to destroy both of them at the same time. Even though the scientists were saying Godzilla is actually on our side and protecting the ecosystem of the planet with the Titans and all that, we can't do that, and the military knows best, so they were going to do it. So they detonate this nuclear device. So they think they killed both of them, but it turns out they killed Godzilla, and the other thing was not affected. King Ghidorah. So they found Godzilla was under the ocean. They were checking and they were monitoring his biorhythms and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just went off. So then they realized they killed Godzilla, and now they think they killed the only thing that's going to be able to stop Ghidorah and all the Titans on the planet. So while they're trying to
humans, when will you learn?
They're trying to figure out how they're going to fix Godzilla and try to find and see what they can do through archaeological studies and scientific shit. So they realize, or they start to realize, that King Ghidorah is not one of the earthly Titans. They start to realize that this was an alien element that showed up here, and Godzilla really is the alpha of the Earth Titans, and he was always trying to stop King Ghidorah because King Ghidorah just wants to destroy the planet, doesn't want the Titans, doesn't want any of that stuff, just wants to destroy everything in its path. So then they realize that they can't stop it, so they're trying to figure out how to jumpstart Godzilla. And they go and they search for Godzilla under the ocean. They find this ancient, I think it's either like Atlantis or Babylon or something, a sunken city. And there's like, they go in through this city and then they realize that there is, it feels like or looks like a natural spring within the city, but really it's a air bubble that's very hot, very humid. Humans can't last very long, so they have these suits in there, and they said, "Look, you've got maybe a few minutes at most because it's so hot in this air pocket that's under the ocean." And that's kind of where Godzilla. They realized that's where Godzilla lives. That's where he hibernates to. So when he's gone for all these years, he's living in that air pocket in the city, and nobody knew about it. Yeah,
that's he's down there with the shark from the Meg, just like hanging out in a thermal vent.
So they're doing everything, and then when the shark gets annoying, Godzilla goes, "Shut up, Meg."
Different Meg.
So anyway, so they realize Godzilla's there and he's recharging. He's not really dead, but they realized that the scale of him to recharge was going to take a few years and they didn't have time. So what did they decide to do? We're going to have to nuke Godzilla again to jumpstart this process.
Oh my God, I was joking and it was true.
So they need somebody down there to detonate the thing. So one of the scientists volunteers his life, and he puts his hand right on the face of Godzilla under his eye because Godzilla's just laying there not moving, and he says, "I'm sorry," or like, "Take care of my friend," whatever. Hits the button, boom, big nuclear explosion. Then all of a sudden, there's no Godzilla. There's no trace of anything. They don't know. They're like, crap, we fucked up again. We're dead. And eventually, somewhere down the line, Godzilla shows up. Now, here's what's really fun. Godzilla, because of all the nuclear energy, not only does he recharge so fast, he's growing bigger.
He's like Super Godzilla?
So the scale of Godzilla I have right here, right? In my hand. You see how big it is. Now, where this hand would be where King Ghidorah is. That's how big he was over Godzilla. Now Godzilla is not only getting here as he's fighting, but then they also realize that he's so radioactive he's going to explode with the power of more nuclear power than what they blew up on him.
Jesus.
So now they're fighting like this, and Godzilla's getting bigger than him and just went from gray to blue to white to now he looks like when lava's trying to come through the rocks, he's turning all red. Geez. So all of a sudden, boom, big explosion. They think Godzilla's dead again. They kill Ghidorah. And turns out Godzilla's not dead. Godzilla survived. It was just like when a reptile sheds. Yeah, exactly. So this nuclear explosion just recharged Godzilla and he grew again. So now Godzilla's bigger than he was. He killed Ghidorah. All the other Titans are not brainwashed anymore, and they're now coming over, and this was cheesy. It was fun cheesy, though. They come around Godzilla and they just lean down and they bend like they're bowing to the king.
They're bending the knee.
Yeah, they're bending the knee, the wings, whatever they're doing, and Godzilla's just looking. He's turning one by one. He's like, "Listen, you shitheads, you better bow to me." And they all start bowing as he's turning one to one, which was kind of funny because he's got this pissed off look in his face, like all you assholes fucked everything up. So they're all bowing, and then when he realized they're all bowing, he's sitting there like this, and all of a sudden you hear the noise that they make for when his tail starts glowing and it goes up his spine to all the spikes on his back, so they start going radioactive before he shoots the atomic breath. It's just starting boom, 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 boom,
powering up.
Yeah, but it's that thing where if like the microphone's here, right, and if you had something spinning like this. Like that, and just in a centrifugal kind of pattern, and then he just goes, wah, shoots this huge atomic blast into the sky. Like, okay, cool. Now you're gonna kill the atmosphere, the ozone layer. He's just shooting up into the sky, and so that's pretty much how it's ending. The Titans.
So do any of the Titans actually die in the movie, or are they all just kind of like
Mothra dies? Mothra dies. Rodan dies. Maybe
were there any like
more
cool ones where like
here's the thing.
There, like I'm picturing like Indiana Jones, and the guy's doing like all shit, and then he just pulls out the gun and shoots him? Is there any like one shot Godzilla moves, or he's like, oh fuck that guy?
No. But here's the thing. So when they were starting the whole realizing the Titans and the patterns and everything, he's like, how many are them? And he goes 17, and the guy goes 17 back to the scientist that we know of. So there's a lot more. So they started finding more. Now, one thing that was really interesting was in the base, they have a map of the world with digital outposts showing where different Titans were known to be located. What you see, and they don't really say anything, is in the South Pacific, there's a cluster of islands that says Titan Kong, right? So King Kong is part of this, which we know. I don't know if you knew, but we knew from Kong Skull Island at the end. The after credit scene shows that that Godzilla was part of this, because in the cave there's caveman artwork of Godzilla.
So, like, what other monsters are in this world then? Is it just Kong?
No, Kong's in there. King Ghidorah is there.
But I just didn't realize that Kong was in the same universe as Godzilla.
Well, back in I want to say in the 70s?
Well, I mean, there was always like Godzilla versus everybody.
Right, but they did a Godzilla versus King Kong movie in the 70s where King Kong won.
Yeah.
But they were setting this up for a new King Kong Godzilla, which I think is the next movie coming. Now, at the end of Kong Skull Island, they were talking about, because Kong was pretty big, compared to the humans. And they're like, my God, he's gotten so, look how much he grew throughout the course of the movie. And they were saying he's not even done yet, or something along the lines. He's like, he's not done growing. So you would think, like, if they do Kong versus Godzilla, King Kong is this big, and there's Godzilla like that, but he's not done growing. So he's still, when they were dealing with King Kong, he was an infant or a toddler age, and he was that big. So he's going to be huge compared to what Godzilla size is now, and then they're going to fight.
Okay.
So that's the next movie.
I'm always for big monsters fighting. Like, it would be great. It would be great if, like, somehow there's like a new Pacific Rim, and then it turns out Godzilla was there in that world too, and he's like, oh fuck these guys, and he's just like Earth's bouncer. It's like, who the fuck you think you are? Get the fuck out of here. Let me see your ID. Yeah. Like, nope.
Only I get to fuck with these people, not you.
Yeah. That's I don't know. I'll check it out. Yeah. Even though you spoiled it for me. Like, I don't, spoilers don't bother me. I'll go watch it.
I honestly thought if you can just get past the annoyance of the human element, the monster stuff was great.
Well, the funny thing is, because I remember you texted me right afterwards. You said the same. You said same problem as every Godzilla movie, and I just wrote back humans.
Yep, exactly.
And the thing is, it's like, it wasn't just you saying that, because I had so many people on my Facebook feed that were like, just got back from Godzilla, and God damn it, they keep putting humans in these movies for some reason. Like, people were just really pissed about that.
I don't think they fully understand the fact that
people just want destruction.
When you say, but when you say take the human, I said earlier the factions of humans that you need in the movie to progress it, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Why you don't need something to relate to. You don't need a human interest story. You don't need a love story. You don't need a redemption story.
Don't need a love story.
You know who needs a redemption story?
Godzilla's love for protecting the Earth.
Right. Godzilla has a redemption story, right? Because that first movie, you thought he was just Godzilla, and he was, screwing up San Francisco and the other.
You reading my shirt?
Yes, redemption. The screwing up San Francisco, but he was really fighting that other Titan at the time.
Yeah.
But you see in the bigger picture, especially in the segment, he's got a kind of a job here to do. So you kind of have to let him do what he does, or else...
That's his thing. He's the protector. He's the bouncer.
Or you're going to die. Either Godzilla, it's like, let him fuck shit up, or Godzilla is going to eat you and destroy you. That's what they need to do. Stop trying to make it, put the element in. It's like, well, then, not everybody wants to see a monster movie like that. We got to do stuff so that it's more mainstream. No, you don't. You don't. No. If you had an hour and a half, if you had a 90-minute movie of a scientist, an archaeological dig, some kind of concoction, an experiment went wrong, this sets up the story. Then you have the military or scientific organization moving it along and placing the monsters, like I said, in the spots they need to be. And then, guess what? Either fly your stealth bombers and shoot stuff into the monsters while they're fighting. That's fine, too. let them turn around and, as they're beating the shit out of each other, Godzilla goes this way and then bites into a stealth bomber and just throws it down on the ground into a big explosion. That's all cool too. Stop doing there where the girl's on an apartment building roof watching everything, smiling, like, go get him, Godzilla. All this rubble and debris is going everywhere and nothing is hitting this person. Yeah. No one cares.
It's like the same problem that I had with like Cloverfield, like just more monster, always more monster. It's a monster movie.
Well, remember we had J.J. Abrams on the show back on the satellite side, and we asked him about the Cloverfield universe because the second movie really was something else that they adapted and altered to fit into the Cloverfield world. Same with the third one that showed up on Netflix.
Cloverfield's
Paradox. Which are fine. I like them. They're bad movies, but I kind of they're nice. But I really loved Cloverfield because it was a different take on telling a Godzilla story without it being Godzilla, right? Well, you asked JJ about the TJ Miller scene on the bridge where he's running with the video camera and runs into another guy that has the video camera, and they're looking and talking at each other a little bit before the tentacle or the arm thing shoots up and starts, smacking the bridge into the ocean. The rumor was that there was going to be another version of that movie, but from another perspective, which I thought would be great because you don't get a movie like that. It's like it's the same movie, same events are happening, but you're getting a different perspective. Now, usually that happens in a storytelling fashion for a TV movie or a TV regular TV show where stuff's going on and you'll see this story and then the same event and you see that story. It's mostly in a small contained way of telling a story, but to see it as a full movie where this one movie is all this side, the next movie, same event, all this side. I would love to go and see a movie like that, but they just don't do it that way.
Yeah, they don't do that way. It's too hard. Yeah. It's a tough balance you got to walk with these movies,
Trying to think, did I see anything else? No, I meant to go see John Wick 3. I have not gone to see that yet. You saw that. I think we talked about it last week, right?
I did see John Wick 3. It's fucking great. Just people getting shot in the face and stabbed for like 2
and all the
hours.
horses. Stunt horsing.
Oh my god, dude. The horse scenes are great. Stable genius. That's what John Wick is. And you'll understand
John Wick 4. Stable genius.
Oh my god.
Will I hate this movie? Nay. That's the review. Will you hate this movie? Nay.
I was on a group chat today and someone asked me if I ever ate horse and I said nay.
Well, that's the appropriate answer. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. But it was a good horse.
All right. We'll do more movies in the next segment. Oh, so you were telling me right as we were getting ready to start that you were watching a live feed of something else and you didn't say a word, but the live feed said something and your phone heard it.
Yep.
So you went to YouTube, and that was the first thing that showed up. What was the thing that live feed said?
Yeah, that happened. I mean, it's just like this is a known thing that happens now. It's not like some secret. Like it happens. But yes, I was watching a Twitch stream, and the Google Stadia was mentioned. And the Google Stadia, is the new
video game system.
It's the new video game system that Google's trying to pitch where you don't need a console. It's just everything is through the internet and you basically just like download and play the games when you want and blah, blah, blah. So no joke. I was just watching a stream, closed out the stream, just opened up YouTube. And the first thing that pops up is a sponsored ad for Stadia Google. I mean, it could be a coincidence because E3 is coming up and YouTube is owned by Google, but like to have that happen less than 10 minutes after it was mentioned is just, it's too odd.
That happened to us one time. We were in the car, remember? We were talking about something things. And then you got out of the car and you went, holy shit, it's on my Facebook. So what are you talking about? And I said, what we were just talking about in the car, look at my Facebook. And one of the things that showed up on Facebook was exactly what we were talking about.
Yep. Happens all the time to me. Like all the time. It's crazy.
Well, there's a new thing now. Like we've all known that Alexa listens to you. Google Home listens to you. Your phones are always listening to you. So they're listening to us right now, and they'll probably have something after this show is done. But an article came out where they were stating, I saw it in some tech websites, and you can take those with a grain of salt because tech websites are...
written by tech people.
Yeah, but more times than not, you're inclined to believe it, but you wait to see some other news sources pick it up and run with it before you go, okay, it's not just some blogger's idea of what really is happening. But I waited, and I saw it on the Wall Street Journal. I heard it on CBS News that there's a new concern with your phone with hackers, because now they can hack into your phone and only use your microphone from your phone. They don't go through your passwords or any of that stuff. They go to your microphone. And if you go and use your phone and you type in a password to whatever, your bank account, your email, your social media, whatever you're doing, they have a thing now where they can hear the frequency of what you're typing on the phone, and they can decode the frequency to the exact letter that you're typing.
That's crazy. Isn't
it? So now they hear all the frequency, the noises from not just wait, where's my phone? Not this.
Well, it's crazy that it still does that like a payphone would. Remember payphones like,
right. Like, and people had those little devices where they would play it into the headset, so it would go ting, so it sounded like you had put money into the payphone, so you could use it for free. But I'm not talking like this. See, here's the glass case. So if you're typing and you have a nail or something, you go like that.
Why are you dialing my number right now, Eric?
It's not hearing that, or you typing on that. It hears the electronic impulse of what letter you're hitting.
Yeah, when you press it, it does something. It's like a really minor feed.
So they have these things now where they can determine the impulse frequency and what number or letter or symbol that it pertains to, and putting it in order it's almost like it's an advanced keylogger. Remember those old programs you could put on someone's computer and it would just record the keystrokes so that you knew passwords, what websites they were going to, whatever you were doing. Now they're doing it just by electronic impulse, to determine what your passwords are in order to hack your phone. Now, remember, you're telling me about all the work I would put into doing to not work. This is going far above and beyond that, doing all that work so that they can just find everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. But it's so scary, too.
I mean, yeah, that's shit that can just, like, everyone's going to find a way.
And there's no way to permanently mute your microphone.
No, I mean, the only thing you could do is just delete everything off your phone and then throw your phone out.
Yeah. You have to actually get rid of the phone in order to... I wish I could sometimes. I've been starting to learn that some days when I'm off, I just throw it on the nightstand, or I put it in a drawer. And I said, for the next several hours, I don't need this thing. And I go off and do what I do. And in some ways, you're like, wow, this is pretty good. I don't have it around. And some other times, you're like, shit, I wish I had it because I wanted to take a picture of something. But, the trade-off is getting some of your sanity back.
Less spying. Yeah, less spying. No more stealing shit. I mean, luckily for me, like, I don't have any money, so no one can steal any of my shit. All they can do is steal my debt.
Please take my debt, please.
Yeah, please take it.
I am at zero debt. People stole it.
That should be the new law. Like, if you steal someone's identity and then they have a lot of debt, you just assume their debt and then they're free of it. As like that's the punishment. And now you have to pay all that back.
Hey, you have a credit card bill to pay, sir. No, I didn't. Hackers took it.
Hackers took it. They're going to pay you for it.
I'm at zero balance now.
You know the new rules. Sorry.
If you're going to do illegal stuff, do kind of a Robin Hood thing. Go in there, hack people's accounts, erase their debt, move their debt somewhere else so that they're like, well, it was a gross invasion of privacy. My accounts were hacked, but I have no more mortgage.
Yeah.
My car payments are done. I have health insurance again.
It's great.
It's like, you know what? Maybe these Russians have the right idea.
They got this. They got this shit down, and they're not paying that back.
No, they're not. They don't care. It's like, what are you going to do? Come to Kiev and get it? Go right ahead.
Yeah, order the chicken.
Take that, Allstate.
Yeah. All state-owned government.
Also with technology, I wanted to talk about YouTube banning and demonetizing channels now. So, in the past, they did a big sweep with, it was more right-wing leaning people like Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, and a few other people. Steven Crowder now is being hit with it. So they're going through and they're demonetizing channels, or they're fully banning channels that have what they deem hate speech and other terminology that they're not really defining. Like you know some of these people and you know some of these channels and you're like, I kind of know what the guy's doing and what he's about. So I get it. But when you have to define the terms of service and they don't give you the terms of service, that's what's really scary, because some of these people say really horrible things, and I get that. But when they can't legally lay out what exactly was the offending material, I think that's going to get Google and YouTube in a lot of legal trouble by deplatforming these people, whether you like them or not, because they're not legally having an explanation other than, well, we got reports and that's just a blanket explanation. That's what we're doing. That's a dangerous territory too. You got to have proof of what these people are doing in order to justify doing these things. And they don't for most of the time.
But I will counter that as these are private businesses and this is what they can do because this is their business.
I understand,
this is not discriminating against someone because of their gender or their sexual orientation or something like that. Like what they're doing is deplatforming people who are spreading lies in a lot of cases, and a lot of people who are getting swept up in this, I don't know what to say. Like this is a double-edged sword, because like I agree with you on censorship, but at the same time you have people saying we're not anti-Semitic, we're not all these people, and then YouTube's like, fine, we're going to ban all of it, and then those same people are like, you're banning us. So it's like, what is it?
You're right. It is a double-edged sword on a lot of these things, because there are people out there who are doing this, but there are people out there who are mostly leaning more conservative because they're more outlandish and more outspoken about people, where they're calling people, they're calling people lazy, or they're calling them idiot. They're criticizing people. And now if you lean a certain way, you can't even criticize. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying the channels and the people that I've noticed that have been the differential between demonetizing, which they're not getting rid of your channel, they're just taking away your ability to make money, and banning the channel. So you got to see the different tiers of what these people are saying case by case basis. So when you have people who are just openly criticizing public figures or political figures or things like that, and they're getting demonetized, but then you have the other people who are saying really horrific things about gay people or people who are for or against abortions or whatever, and they're getting banned. You really, this is why I said you got to determine, especially since they have legal terms of service, they got to have their shit, not just a blanket ban because everybody wants this person banned. You got to give the exacts. And in the case of a couple of people,
have you ever read the terms and services?
Who has? But it's only coming.
People have. Like, I've seen plenty of people posting online all the terms of services that are like, you can't do this. Like, this has been going on this long, and this is legitimately in your terms of service. Like, it's in Twitter's terms of service that you can't have like hateful speech and shit like that. And like, people post hate speech all the time on there, and I don't see I don't see, a lot of those people getting as taken down as much as you say. Like, I don't know. I don't see this as a First Amendment right issue in any way. I see this as a private business saying like, I don't want this on my channel.
I wasn't saying
if someone comes in my house and is like, yo, I fuck all the Jews, I'm going to kill them all, and I could say, get the fuck out of my house. They'd be like, you're violating my First Amendment right. I'd be like, yeah, but you came in my house, so get the fuck out of my house.
Right,
like,
right.
And like, technically, yes, I'm violating his First Amendment rights by telling him he can't say that in my house, but he's in my house. I own this house. I
wasn't saying anything about I wasn't saying it was a freedom of speech. No, I know that,
but what I'm saying is like that's what this comes down to at the end of the day. Like everything you're saying about people being deplatformed, monetized, at the end of the day, it all comes down to the bottom line that this is a business.
But here, this is what I'm getting at. Free speech, private platform, I get all that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is the legal terms of service, and this is where it's going to get dangerous because most regular people like myself don't read it. You said you've seen people who are more astute to these things have read the terms of service and used it both to defend their platform or to attack another platform, saying you're violating these rules, you can't do this. When you have high profile figures that are getting deplatformed or banned, right? And their statements that they receive from YouTube do not give specific terms of service violations or specific material that violated the terms of service. That's where it's going to get dangerous because you may think they're enforcing and doing the right thing, but legally, even though it's a private company, those are legal terms of service. that you had to agree to. So these people, if you can't give me any example or platform or solid answer, this can open up a whole can of worms where these companies start getting sued for doing these kind of things. Same shit would happen with Facebook.
But what did they get sued for?
For violating their own terms of service. It's like they're not even following the rules that they put out there.
But what I'm saying is you still haven't read the terms of service. So like, how do you know that people aren't violating the terms of service? Like, you haven't read it. You said all these people are getting deplatformed. They haven't read it. So how do you know that that's what's happening? Because I'm seeing plenty of people who are posting things saying like, this is what your terms of service says. This person still has here, and they're like literally directing hate at me. And it's
I get
so,
that.
Like, that's
I'm saying there's conservative.
Like give me an example of someone who's been deplatformed because of that.
There's been some like news pundits and stuff. I've seen other cases. I wish I knew people in this world better, but I don't. I just go based on the news that I see and follow, and not just Twitter feeds, but legitimate news broadcasts and services and stuff where they're compiling some of these things, and some of these people are getting deplatformed or demonetized because of party association or political association or work association, those kind of things. Smaller level stuff, not bigger people. But that's where it gets tricky, where if they're just blanket saying, well, you fall into the conservative blanket too, and like this, well, we're going to just do it as well. But you didn't. Some of these people are posting like, I don't have an example of the terms of service violation that you're telling me I violated for, and they don't give you an answer. That's where I'm saying it's going to be really tricky, where they can say, well, we're just doing it because. That violates their own legal terms of service. They got to provide the exact thing that shows that they violated so that you can get rid of them. Otherwise, you're going to get lawsuits on your hands. Let's try to find something fun to go out on break with here. Oh, here we go. Here's something.
Uber helicopters are coming.
That's
Eric.
exactly what I was looking at. Now, before you get to the Uber helicopters, what you had put up a tweet about a Polish man directing traffic. What was that about?
Oh, dude, I live in a crazy neighborhood with drunks, and I was literally walking home, and there was a guy just drinking a beer, just standing in the middle of traffic going like this. He's like,
So he has a beer in his hand by his mouth, and he's just waving his arm around?
Open beer, just drinking in the street, just pointing different directions. And that's just the thing that happens all the time in my neighborhood.
And people were obeying the traffic.
Let's just follow him. He's doing a good job. He's doing a better job than these stop signs.
That's pretty.
Because at least that you have to avoid them.
You should take video and put that up online.
I would, but I don't know, man. I've kind of changed, and I kind of feel bad about taking advantage of people like that. You know what I mean? Like, people have problems.
Well, there's a difference between if you think he's got mental issues, then that's one thing. That's fine. If he was just drunk in directing traffic, that is all on him. You should definitely take a video.
No, these are like the old like homeless like drunk guys in my neighborhood who are like, this was at like 2 PM, dude. This guy was like piss drunk in the middle of traffic, directing traffic.
All right, I get it.
Like, yeah, people who, like, you could smell them from 3 blocks away type thing.
Damn it. So that's not a good story to go out on either. I thought it was just a drunk guy directing traffic. I didn't realize it.
Well, I mean, it was. It technically was a drunk guy directing traffic. But I wasn't going to take video of it and like put it on the internet and like embarrass the guy. Like, he's got problems. But it's also something that you see that's local to your neighborhood, and if you live here, you're like, that's just a common occurrence here. That's just something you see. All right, let's try for a third story then. In certain neighborhoods. Let's try for a third story then, and we'll go out on break with this one. Hopefully it's a good story. Uber. You were telling me that Uber is now going to be offering helicopter service. Yeah, they are. They're going to be offering helicopter service between Lower Manhattan and JFK. And now, it just said service between those. It didn't say whether or not it just meant service from Lower Manhattan to JFK. But all I'm picturing is just like my local McDonald's over here and a bunch of like Uber drivers just sitting there in their helicopters waiting for that sound, like, oh, I got to go pick someone up. And they like fly away in their helicopter like GTA, just crashing into buildings and knocking over things, like trying to land on the street and cutting down trees. Like, oh, your Uber's here. Your Ubercopter. All these other companies are like, Amazon is really perfecting this drone delivery technology. How are we going to compete with this? How are we going to, it's not even compete. How are we going to beat this? If they get this going, we're screwed. We're still doing cars in traffic. And then Uber steps to the front. Gentlemen, I have the solution. Ubercopter. Yeah.
So you got helicopters trying to drop packages out through the suburbs, through the city. You're trying to land. Remember the old game Space Taxi, where you're going full throttle, and then you got to learn to ease back and try to land on the platform without killing the people or destroying the taxi. Yep. That's what it's going to be. Uber Copter is going to turn into Space Taxi in Manhattan as they're trying to land on buildings, side of the highway, into the water.
I can't wait. It's going to be fucking great.
Would you take an Uber Copter?
Fuck no. I don't want to get a helicopter in any way. You know, every year there's like a video, like it happens like once or twice where like a helicopter just crashes into the river and it's just a horrible tragedy. Like, I am not getting on a helicopter. Like, I have no reason to get on a helicopter unless I've been in a horrible accident and they're flying me to save my life. Like, that's about it.
Even that's not good. Did you see that lady they rescued over in Arizona? This old lady was out hiking in the desert. And I don't know if she broke her leg or sprained her ankle or something prevented her from walking. And she managed to get communication to emergency services. So they sent a helicopter out into the desert. But what they didn't do was control the support line that was pulling up the stretcher that had her wrapped into the emergency stretcher to bring her to airlift her to the helicopter. And as it was getting up, it started spinning just as fast as the propeller did. And now she's bundled up doing centrifugal G's with an injury trying to get into a helicopter.
Yeah, I was picturing the Simpsons picking Homer out of the ravine and him just banging his head the whole way up, and then they put him in the thing and he flies back down.
Yeah, they put him in the ambulance. It goes to tear off, hits a tree, falls all the way back down the ravine.
She's spinning so fast. It's like she's just gonna die. Like all the blood's just gonna rush to the top of her head, and they're just gonna get up there. Like, what happened to Granny? Why is she red at the top and red at her feet and white in the middle? Like, oh, that's the centrifuge of the helicopter dragging her up.
And all of these are not just fun stories that you're making up with your friends. These are attempts at serious advances in transportation and delivery methods, and it's turning into how you would crash a flight simulator in a game. Like, what's the most messed up way I can destroy this helicopter? And this is what's going on in real life.
Yeah, it's great.
Great time to be alive.
That's why people would I don't know. I mean, if you got to rescue someone, that's what you got to do. But poor lady.
You're going to see a lot of those closed circuit television videos, just watching helicopters spinning into weird things.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Getting caught in the steel cables on the bridge.
Yep.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll plow through TV movie updates for you, and then we will get out of here for the week. We'll be right back.
It's Erik Nagel with Erik and Gittles. More next. It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Erik Nagel. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app.
And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos.
It's Erik Nagel. And it's back.
Your popped?
My headphones just kind of went like that. That was
I
weird.
thought you broke your neck somehow. Oh, hold on. My phone's making sounds.
Weather alerts.
What do those sounds mean? This is the conspiracy. Why does my phone just make sound that says I have an email? I don't have an email.
Do you have multiple email accounts on your phone?
Shut up, Erik. I don't know.
Welcome back to the show. Segment 2.
Season 2.
Segment 2.
Season 2.
Of the pro. We didn't get picked up for season 2. This is a one and done season.
We only got one episode?
Yes, we got to get the fans rally and see if we can protest to see if we can get Netflix to pick us up.
Yay.
Broadcast television has had enough of us.
The DC Universe will pick us up.
Going back to the box office stuff, we talked about movies earlier, but looking back at last week's stuff, coming in at number 1, obviously Godzilla King of the Monsters. Number 2, the live action Aladdin, which is at almost $190 million. It's doing pretty well. Number 3, Rocket Man opened up. That's the Elton John biopic. I want to see, but I don't think I want to go to the theater to see it. I think I'll wait for...
I heard it's really good. Like, a bunch of my friends have seen it. All my musician friends said it's great.
I want to see it. I just don't know if that's a movie I'll have the patience to sit through in the theater.
How long is it?
It is... That's a rather personal question, but I will answer it for you. Rocket Man is a 2-hour movie. Okay,
it's not too bad. At least it's not longer than that. Like 2 hours is kind of pushing it, but he's got a pretty big story.
Yeah, it made about $70 million. Not bad for its opening weekend. Number 4 is Ma, which Gittles saw.
Yeah.
And currently it is up to $26.5 million.
That's 5 times the amount, which means I'm 5 times closer to winning my bet that there's going to be Ma 2.
Mama.
It's gonna call Oh My God.
And then number 5 is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Endgame, number 6, still doing strong. What's Endgame at now? Did it break the... I don't think it did yet.
It's worth more than France.
It is $2.7 billion it has made. Woo! I think it's got to break another 100 million, and then it beats Avatar for the biggest movie of all time. Opening this weekend, if you're going to go out and go to the movies, there's Dark Phoenix, the final installment of the X-Men franchise, the Fox X-Men franchise. And then it's going to rest for a while, and then Marvel will incorporate it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And also The Secret Life of Pets 2, where they've replaced Louis C.K., who played Max, is now voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, okay. He's doing a lot of voices. He's in like everything now. Every time I put on a show, there's a voice. I'm like, oh, that's Patton Oswalt. I was watching that show Happy on Sci-Fi or FX, whatever it is.
The Penguin animated one?
No, it's the one that's got Christopher Maloney and he's followed around by a blue unicorn.
The Netflix show, yeah.
No, it's on Netflix. I think it's like Sci-Fi. And the unicorn is the voice of Patton Oswalt. Like, he's so many voices. That's a crazy show. If you haven't seen it, watch Happy. It's nuts.
No, I've not seen it. I think the first season of Happy is on Netflix. That's why I said Netflix.
It is. I watched it there. Dude, the show opens up with Christopher Maloney putting a gun to his head and pulling the trigger, and then his brain blows out and it just turns into dancing girls. It's a great show.
There's the endorsement to go see Happy. Opening next weekend is Men in Black International, which I don't really have an interest in seeing. And then there's another Shaft movie that's coming out with Samuel L. Jackson. I've never saw the first Shaft movie that he did.
I mean, it was just kind of like a fun like throwback thing. It wasn't very good.
And then skipping another weekend. So I guess you can't bundle it that way. All right. June 21st is the weird combination of Child's Play, where Mark Hamill is Chucky, and also Toy Story 4, both opening the same weekend.
Oh, that's going to be great when people walk into the wrong theater. I love when a kid's movie opens the same weekend as a horror movie. Also kind of looks like a kid's movie. Nothing makes me happier than parents running out of a theater screaming. But also, if you don't realize in the first 5 seconds, like, this isn't Toy Story 4, you deserve everything that happens.
Looking at DVD releases for this past week. Nothing really. Home video. There's nothing really of interest. Next weekend is something to look forward to, because then Captain Marvel comes out. And there is also, I saw a horror movie. Oh, yeah. Leprechaun Returns.
I saw the trailer for that.
How does that look? Horrible?
It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It's not one of the, how I always talk about good, bad movies. Like, I'm not hyped to see it. Like, it looks bad, and I have zero interest in it.
Okay.
The only good one was Leprechaun in the Hood, and everyone knows.
You didn't like Leprechaun in Space?
No, it was just a little too far at that point. Like, In the Hood was great. When he pulls the fucking shotgun out of his fro, it's great.
I never saw that one, but that sounds fun.
Dude, Ice-T is in it.
And I think that's it for movies. There were no trailers this week, right? I didn't really see anything.
What did I see a trailer for? There's some new movie, some time travel movie with kids that's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but it's getting like comparisons to Stranger Things and stuff. It's like 4 boys, and they're like kind of like they're doing something, and then they encounter like a time void or something like that. I don't know. There's some low budget Netflix movie that I heard is like pretty good. But I think it's called like At the End of the World or something like that.
I'm looking, trying to see.
But I saw the trailer. Hold on, let me see if I can find this quick.
Yeah, I don't see time travel stuff that's available on Netflix. Oh, did you ever see Dark, by the way, on Netflix?
No, I did not.
I meant to watch it. I heard a lot of good things. I guess season 2 now is out for Dark, and they're saying it's even more messed up than the first season. So I definitely want to go and see that.
I have some friends who watch that show, The OA, which I never watched.
Are you talking about this thing called The Travelers with the guy with Will from Will and Grace?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's it. No, that's not it at all. No, it's a movie. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up really fast. I'm just gonna go to the Netflix.
Clickety click, hee haw, the Italian Christmas donkey.
The Netflix. Time travel.
Well, while you look for that,
yeah.
Bill and Ted 3 news came out.
Yeah.
that they cast the daughters.
Yep.
So Bill and Ted have daughters. So at the end of Bogus Journey, when they came back from time traveling, they had the big ZZ Top looking beards, and they had their music that they written and performed, and they did God Gave Rock and Roll to You at the end of the movie, and they had kids in Bjorns on the back of them when they came out of the phone booth.
Yep.
So now it's revealed that they both had daughters, and the daughters look like Bill and Ted. So
I'm psyched.
I'm wondering where that plays into the story now, because apparently Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is the third one here, is about they have yet to write the music that aligns the universe and causes harmony throughout the galaxy that they were destined to do so. Now they're in their 50s, I guess, and they still haven't written the music to do all of this stuff, is the main premise of it.
Yeah, from what I read, it said, like, they saved the world, and they do, but this is them learning how to play their music or whatever.
Yeah. So it's filling in the gaps, I guess, which seems like a funny concept, but I wonder where the daughters come in, or if it gets to the point where the daughters write the music.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to be, the one quick thing, the show is called Rim of the World, the movie.
Rim Job of the World.
Rim of the World. That's the name of the other thing I was talking about. But
Pacific
I feel like
Rim of the World.
Rim of the World, yes. I think they're going to either be like in the bands, or they're going to end up being like the smart counterparts to them of like, no, you're doing this wrong. Like, this is what you have to do. Because they're in there, oh, yeah, good thing we had these smart daughters with our princess wives because we are fucking stupid. Like, I think they're going to have like that kind of a role in this movie. Also
stated to return the character of Death.
Oh, I can't wait. He's one of my favorite characters.
Death will be part of Bill and Ted's 3. Face the
Is
music.
Station going to be back?
I'm sure it has to. Or
Station.
Son of Station.
Oh my God, I'd watch Son of Station. Son of Station Agent.
Yeah, there you go.
A really small Peter Dinklage.
Moving on to the streaming services and television. It's weird. You have more news for streaming services lately than you do for television. Television's not doing a lot, but the streaming service.
Let's be honest here. Television became the streaming service. You know what I mean? Or streaming service became television.
Right.
And the only thing that's left on TV now is like competition shows. And
look, I hate most of the competition shows, but I did enjoy MasterChef Junior, and that just ended.
Oh.
I know.
You liked it because it was just children crying, right?
No, that's the unfortunate part. It's not like MasterChef or Hell's Kitchen where people get yelled at and they stress out and they fight and all that. They're very nice to the kids.
Well, yeah, you can't ruin these children.
Yes, you can.
I'm saying there's the Erik I know.
Yes, you can. You can watch that. I'd watch that show. Dude, it's 12 weeks of torment on these kids. It's like,
you call this a duck? It's a goose.
Some of them aren't even eliminated. They run crying and they just leave. They throw their aprons and they look for their mommy.
I'm gonna go back to my easy bake oven.
It's like, we got to make adjustments because we can't have another. You can't have another repeat of season 3. What happened in season 3? We were down to the finalists by the 3rd week. Most of the kids cried and ran off.
Yeah, they were out of here.
You were throwing plates at them. He's like he ruined the quiche. No, but I always sit there and I comment while I'm watching MasterChef Junior. Because I speak alone. I speak out loud alone because I'm insane. I'll sit there and I said, how great would it be? They have these competitions, right? And one version of the competitions where they choose 3 plates to examine. And those 3 people can, one of those 3 people will win the maybe the immunity thing or the challenge contest, whatever it is, where you get to pick the elements that the rest of the people are going to cook with. Like, it's something like that. So they bring 3 plates, and if you're one of the 3 plates chosen, that you can qualify to win this new advancement or whatever. I always love when they have to present their plate. If when it really counted, like a really important moment, if they tripped and dropped the plate, and everyone's just like, and you do some creative editing where there's like a hush, everyone's just wide-eyed and looking and ashamed, and then it's just the kid standing there like wide-eyed in shock, shaking, doesn't know what to do because the plate now is all on the floor. Everything they spent the last hour cooking has been ruined. Yeah, and now they're like, they know they're eliminated. They know they're not going to win this thing. That's this kind of stuff I want to watch. I know it's cruel and horrible, but it's also television, so I can separate it.
Throw something in there for the adults every once in a while.
You know, I wanted to sit there where they go to eat it and they're quiet and they kind of look at them and they walk away. They don't comment on their presentation or the recipe or the plating. They don't do any of that stuff. They just take a bite, they nod, and they walk away. So now the kid's sitting there. All three judges hadn't said a word, and they're not even making eye contact. And the kid's waiting for some kind of judgment, and then finally, he waves a hand. He's like, "Just go. You're horrible. It's go." Like they can't. They're so disgusted they can't even look at the kid, and the kid's just got to walk away with shame and guilt and anything else that they throw at him there. Where now the kid's just sitting there like
I'm just picturing him just sitting there. He's like, just throwing a tray of food and be like, "You call this a fucking custom Lunchable?" And the kid's like crying. It's just like Ritz crackers and ham.
Yeah, that's what some kid brings some really low rent dish. What is this? You know, he slams his hands on the table like a father who just found out you got an F on your report card.
Yeah.
Really? You're so much more. You're capable of so much more. I know you're better than this. This is garbage. And he smacks it all off the table. Kid's freaking out. All the other kids are freaking out because nobody likes an adult yelling.
So good. I'll watch if that happens.
Let's see if we can come up with our own show where they just yell at children. I'm telling you, you'd get no sponsors and you probably could only get away with one season. But damn it, people will always like Joe Schmo. That will be that one. Remember that one cooking show with the kids where all they did was yell at the kids? It's like, I don't even know how that got approved, but it will be the things of legend.
And then during the last elimination, they bring out the judges and they're like, "Judge, please inform the children." And then the judge is like, "None of your food this entire season was edible at all. We've just been pretending that this is good food. It is fucking awful. You killed the other judge in episode 2. Really lay it down. Like, we faked all this shit to make you guys look like great little cooks." The end. Yeah. And then the kids just start crying.
I want to see the kids not only just crying, but have them fight back a little bit. Like if they're eliminated, say it's a
Should
proper.
They be able to stab back?
No, like it's a proper elimination. They went through, they evaluated, they spoke their piece. Nothing the judges did were wrong, and one kid just has a complete mental breakdown.
Yep.
Where, you know, you're throwing the cooling racks and cast iron pans all over the place. And screw you, Gordon Ramsay. And like they're just mouthing off a lot of censored bleeps over the kid's mouth as he's cursing. And they're all just standing around like this 8-year-old is losing its shit. That's what I want to watch.
So great.
But I always watch. We're not in that world right now. But when I watch MasterChef Junior, I'm always rooting for something to go wrong or the kids to drop the dishes. I just want them to just. It's so horrible. But I was like, it'd be so fun if they're just miserable. If they just experience utter humiliation and disgust. I guess it's transference is what it's called. I'm projecting because that's what I want onto the television show. Anyway,
you've really been eliminated, child.
So, well, we've eliminated your parents. Good luck on your own, sir.
And they eliminate one kid's parents, and that's the secret ingredient in the next episode. Like Hartman's got to make Scott Tenorman's chili out of his like friend's parents.
Let me lick your tears, Scott. Oh, they're so salty and delicious. That'd be great. It's like, we've eliminated your parents, but promise me you'll still keep cooking. What? Farewell. MasterChef, the door shuts. Oh, anyway, we're talking about streaming stuff and versus television stuff. There's more streaming announcements than there are for television. On Netflix, new season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. So I do enjoy that franchise, so we'll be watching that. Netflix also announced that they're renewing Lucifer for season 5, and apparently it's going to be its final season, which I'm not happy about because I like Lucifer a lot. But they renewed it for season 5, so #Renucifer is back in effect.
I gotta say, dude, like I've passed a lot of people recently who've asked me if I've been watching Lucifer. Like I feel like it got this new life on Netflix, and
it did.
Like, people are watching it now.
It did.
Like people have been like coming up to me asking me about it. Like, are you watching Lucifer? And I was like, that's still on. I watched like a bunch of it in the beginning, but I haven't kept up on it. And yeah, it's still on Netflix and it's good. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it did 3 seasons on Fox here in the United States, and the 4th season was the Netflix season. Yep. Which they were able. We talked about this. They were able to expand the world, where the language is a little bit saltier, a little bit more risque as far as the women and the demons and stuff like that. But it wasn't going so far over the top. It's like, oh, now we get to be R-rated, so they go and do everything that they weren't allowed to do on broadcast television. They worked it in a pace that it made sense, like expanding the way that they can do the episodes. Didn't feel out of the ordinary from the first 3 seasons that you were watching. It felt like they added a lot more, and it was in the right direction.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Lucifer is, I'm trying to think, did Neil Gaiman create Lucifer too? Because I know Lucifer showed up in the Sandman.
I don't know, but I know he was in Sandman. Hold on, I'm gonna Google this.
And Lucifer had a Fonzie transformation, where in the Sandman he's depicted as a blonde gentleman, where Fonzie was supposed to be a blonde gentleman on Happy Days, and then it turned out to be...
Yes, it was based on the characters created for Vertigo by Neil Gaiman, Sam Keith, and Mike Dringenberg.
All right, so those 3 gentlemen created Sandman, and they created Lucifer.
Well, this is just for Lucifer. I don't know if they created Sandman, but that's just based on this. This is for Lucifer.
Well, Neil Gaiman did Sandman, right?
Well, yeah, he did, but it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that Lucifer was created for Sandman. It just says he created it. I don't know if that was his first appearance was in Sandman.
I think it was. I think that's where the character debuted, was in the Sandman stories.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else then. Yeah, he might be in that. I don't know.
Maybe you're thinking of Gordon Ramsay.
Oh my God, he'd be great.
Gordon Sandman.
So, you call this a food? And Thanos just snaps his fist.
Everyone keeps dying.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lucifer renewed for season 5 of the final season. I thought if they kept going, they could have worked eventually in doing the reverse. So how Lucifer was introduced in Sandman, have Sandman.
Yeah, he was introduced in Sandman number 4.
Right.
April 1989. That was his debut.
I would love to see if they would do the reverse on the TV show, but you only got 1 season left, so I don't think that's going to be possible. Also with Netflix news, the other day, season 5?
5?
Is that what it is? Season 5 for Black Mirror?
Yeah, it dropped yesterday.
Just kidding. I have not watched it yet. Have you watched any of it?
I watched 2 of them. My Netflix played them in a wrong order, so it was very confusing for me because people were like, "Oh, I watched. I didn't like this part of this episode, and that was the only episode I saw." And I was like, "But that was episode 2." They're like, "No, that was episode 1." For some reason, my Netflix just played them in the wrong order.
Oh wow!
So I saw the last episode first, and then the first episode second. And now there's the 1 episode I haven't seen yet, which is the one with Topher Grace, which I'm holding out hope is going to be the good episode.
It's only 3 episodes this season?
Yeah, it's a 3-episode season, like the original
Topher Grace getting really weird, obscure work because he's in Black Mirror. He's also in that Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, he is in that too.
Yeah.
And then Miley Cyrus is in this season of Black Mirror. I will say the 2 episodes I watched...
No,
I like the show, but they gotta get back on track. That's all I'll say. I think the problem with Black Mirror is the same problem that happened with Game of Thrones, where the show is extraordinarily popular and it's getting bigger, and it's aware that it's getting bigger, and it's suffering because of it.
How is it aware?
Like they just know how popular the show is. And so they're like I just think that they know that like they have this huge show and they're just trying to put like all these different elements into it. But I feel like they're rehashing the safer elements from earlier Black Mirror episodes as opposed to the darker elements of the show. So I think they're trying to make it as the show is getting bigger,
they're
friendlier,
they're
mainstreaming
it.
Like that's what I'm saying. So that it doesn't scare people away. So that in the middle of season 5, someone puts it on and sees someone fucking a pig and turns the show off. You know what I mean?
Damn it.
So all I will say is that what I saw as the second episode is actually the first episode. It's called Striking Vipers. It's okay. It's got an interesting story. I did not like the Miley Cyrus one. I was nothing against her. It was just a bad episode.
Okay.
And I Googled this morning. I just typed in Black Mirror season 5, and I opened up my Google News, and it was literally like 6 headlines that were just like, what a fucking bad season. And I was like, oh no, like everyone else is on the same page as me.
And you needed to have a strong season after coming off of Bandersnatch, which was, reviewed pretty well, but it did put off a lot of people who didn't want to watch a show in that style, in that choose your own adventure thing.
There's like some cool elements, like some interesting things that they do in the 2 episodes I saw. Like I said, I still haven't seen the one with Topher Grace where he's like an Uber driver. I've heard it's good, but they're doing the same thing that I complain about with a lot of stuff on the show, where they're going back to the well of the same tropes they've used before. It's like, how many times I have to see some dude playing a video game where he's like, I'm just going to put this on my temple and then my eyes are going to roll back and then I'm in a video game. Like, how many times does that have to happen? Or like, oh, like we took someone's consciousness out of this and put it into this. Like, I get it. Like, you've done it a lot of times now. Like, I want something different. Like, the episodes of this show that I like are the dark ones. Like, Playtest, the VR game with the guy.
I was just going to say that where he's in the mansion.
Bear and the Bee episode. Like, all those like darker episodes. That's what attracted me to the show. And I feel like they won the Emmy for San Junipero. And I feel like that's where they're trying to go. And they're trying to make a San Junipero 2. And they should just leave it be and keep making Black Mirror episodes. That's my personal opinion.
You're probably right, because this was a private, or I forgot the British company that was running it for the first 2 seasons over in England.
I think, or something.
And then Netflix came on board with it and is now funding it. They funded it for the 3rd season, and that did well. And then they did the 4th season, started doing really good because of the Star Trek parody episode. And
but if that season that season overall, like if you look at it overall, like there's more. Well, was that the Archangel season?
Yeah. Was that the one where the mom was spying on the daughter?
That was another one where I feel like there was more losers than winners. Like the USS Callister was good. I thought like the Black Museum one was pretty good.
I love the Black Museum one, but what happened was that episode about those robotic dogs,
a million times better than any of the episodes I saw in the.
All right, but I'm just saying that episode about the robotic dogs was a really creepy thing when it came out, because you didn't really know what was going on, other than these people were trying to steal something from a warehouse, and then they spent most of the episode running away, trying not to be killed by these things, and because they were self-aware, they could function, they could do all this stuff. Then shortly after, like months after, then they started putting out those videos on the news about the science labs that were creating these dogs.
Oh yeah, I mean those signs.
I'm saying that episode shot back up into popularity when the news stuff came out. When you saw that one kind of mechanical dog thing that had like the mouth feature that was turning a doorknob to pull it open, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, these things are going to kill us!" That episode shot back up in popularity because they kept putting side by side the news, the clips on the news things. They put in the clips from the episode with this thing.
Isn't that a shame that like the 2 episodes that are going to come true from that show is the Waldo moment and then the fucking dog episode? The 2 of the worst episodes.
Well,
are the 2 ones that come true. The Waldo moment about the
Trump
elected to be president, and then Metalhead, where there's just going to be dogs hunting us down. This is the reality.
We still have time for killer bees. We still have time. That could happen.
Yeah, honestly, like I saw, I'm on the Black Mirror subreddit. I don't know if you ever subscribed to there.
No.
But it's literally just people posting science articles like, yep, Black Mirror called it. It's like there was one about robot bees that pollinate flowers the other day. And everyone's like, oh, the bee episode's coming true next.
Well,
I don't know.
The thing that's different with Black Mirror calling it as compared to saying Simpsons predicted it was when Simpsons were writing it, they were just throwing random shit. Like you hear all the time on the commentary. It's like, what could be so obscene and ridiculous that it would ever happen? And that's what they did. And the world went that way. That's why when they say Simpsons predicted it or Simpsons did it, that it's been such a phenomenon. For Black Mirror, there's a lot of research that they do because it's Twilight Zone, but based in technology and social issues, incorporating both together. So the writers had to have inklings of some of these things that were on the forefront of being worked on or being developed. They're like, well, the concept of robotic bees to pollinate if the bee population goes down, it's still years away, but they wrote those scripts years ago, and now it's catching up. So it's not necessarily like, wow, Black Mirror called it. It's like, no, it's based on some kind of truth that they read somewhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about a lot of the Black Mirror ones. Like even the robot dog ones. Like, yeah, well, I mean, they could any of those videos of the Boston engineering places from years ago of those robots and like easily predicted that dogs like would be a thing, you know?
Right.
And that's obviously the difference between Black Mirror and Simpsons is that, as you said, Simpsons was just throwing things out in the dark. Like, hey, farming simulator, this will be hilarious. And then, you know, Farmville became a thing or whatever.
Yeah, virtual farming.
But Black Mirror is more of like watching the trends. It's like Black Mirror is more of like investing in a stock market. And Simpsons was like betting on the crazy horse with the weird odds. You know what I mean?
There is, trying to think which episode it was.
Of Black Mirror?
Yeah, I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2. I think it was season 1, The Entire History of You, that stars the current Doctor from Doctor Who. She was the female lead in that episode. Okay. And
Crocodile?
No. The Entire History of You. It's the third episode in season 1, right?
That's how I found the show, yeah.
So the female lead in that episode is now the lady who's Doctor Who. And that episode really was the technology they were using where you had something in your head that you could transport your memories like a hard drive and send it over to a TV. It's like when you had Chromecast or your Apple TV and your Apple phone, where whatever you're playing on your phone, you can send to Apple TV and it would show up on the television. So that technology existed, just not implanted in your head. But it was more of a statement of that's where it's going. If we proceed like this, it's going to go eventually that way. And Robert Downey Jr. bought the rights to that particular episode to develop into a movie. And he never did because he's been doing all the Marvel stuff. But now that he's got some time off, I'm wondering if we're going to see that movie.
Maybe.
Because that was one of my favorite episodes.
That's how, like I said, that's how I found the show. I was reading an interview with Robert Downey Jr. and he said, I bought the rights to this episode of this show, and I liked the episode so much I want to make a movie. And I was like, who liked one episode of one TV show so much that they wanted to make it a movie? And then I did the research and I was like, oh, it's an anthology show, so that makes sense. And then I watched the episode and I was like, hooked.
Yeah, I hope
that's how you had to find things because before it was on Netflix,
right? I'm trying to see if there's anything else left TV before we get out of here. Rick and Morty, like we said, season 4 is coming out in November.
That commercial for Rick and Morty?
I can only find it on their IGTV for Instagram. I can't find it.
That's the only place they put it.
They didn't have it on YouTube or anything else where it's... Nope. If you haven't seen it, go to Rick and Morty on Instagram and click on their IGTV feature because they can show more than a 30 or 30 second or 60 second video clip where it's just Rick and Morty. They're bored. They're sitting in the... It's like, what are those cable episodes they did the first 2 seasons? Remember where they did the weird sort of non-best of show where they were watching
the interdimensional cable?
Right. So it looks like an interdimensional cable episode where they're bored, they're watching TV, and really on the television, Morty's playing a video game, and it's this game. What is the game called? Victor? Do you remember the game?
Oh no, they're playing Roy.
No. Roy 2, Dave.
Yeah.
No, what is damn it, I can't think of the name. So anyway, the creators of Rick and Morty put out a video game. And the video game, why can't I remember the damn title? They put out this game and it's all different looking creatures, but they have Rick and Morty's voices.
Yeah.
And they're watching Rick's watching Morty play the game and Morty's saying how great this game is. And Rick keeps saying, this sucks, this is horrible, this sucks. He goes, why does everybody in this game sound like you and me? And he's like, come on, Rick, you always got to shit on everything I like. He's like, did you ask, what's his name?
Dan Harmon.
Did you ask Dan Harmon for permission to do this? No. All right, did you ask Adult Swim? No. Okay, I'm out of this. I have nothing to do with this. You just made an illegal commercial. I want nothing to do with it. Like, it's very meta, and then it takes you out of its world completely because of this video game. So they're shitting on a video game they worked really hard on with their other more popular properties, shitting on that, and then they go, fuck this, we can't do any of this stuff. It was a very creative commercial.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it because it was just him, because it was just so ridiculous. Like you said, he's like, why does every character just sound like us? It's like, just how it is.
Yeah, but it's mostly, the whole commercial is all Justin Roiland, and I'm trying to look for the video game. It is called. Oh, well, I'm not seeing it here. Oh, Trover. This would have been great if Trevor was still on the show. Trover Saves the Universe is the name of the game.
Okay,
so you can find the trailer for the game.
It looks fun. I don't have any of the VR stuff, so I can't really play
either.
It,
but it looks pretty fun. I think that's it for television, right? We had that. Oh, Chernobyl finished. If you haven't watched Chernobyl, everyone's talking about it now because there's nothing else on HBO for after Game of Thrones.
I did read this, though, that Russia is making their own version of Chernobyl as a counterattack because they said we got all the facts wrong, and it was actually CIA spies who snuck into Chernobyl and blew it up. So they're making their own version, apparently, to counteract the HBO version.
Okay, I'll still watch it, and we'll sit there and go, yeah, this didn't happen this way.
The funniest thing was, I saw a comment on the article, though, and they're like, that's really stupid. If Russia really wanted to get back at us, they'd just make a movie called Flint.
It was really Canada that came down and poisoned the water.
Yeah.
Did you see any Chernobyl or no?
I have not yet, but everyone's told me about it. Everyone says it's really good. I want to see it.
You really should. There's some amazing scenes I'd love to talk to you about, but you haven't seen the thing yet, so
it's
I don't want to do it.
It's a fascinating story.
It is. It's only 5 episodes. It's 5 1-hour episodes.
Oh, they're only 1 hour?
They're only 1 hour. They're 5 1-hour episodes. Tells the story, and I remember hearing somebody talk about Chernobyl and it goes, "Then it got really depressing by episode 4." And I know what happens in episode 4, and it is very depressing. But the whole point was not it got depressing by episode 4. The whole situation was terrifying and depressing. The aftermath was horrific and depressing. Like the whole story was there was no happiness in the story that led it to be depressing for episode 4. The whole thing is a shit show.
Oh yeah, and then because the history of it is the official the differences and the government cover up of the body counts and stuff like that. Where I think what they said
Ice-T's body count,
talk shit, get shot.
Yeah,
was that song? But
that'd be great if that was.
No, it was the official notice from the Russian government put out said only 13 people died, but they predict between 4,000 and 9,000 died or something like that.
Here's a little spoiler for you, but not really because it's history.
Look it all up on the internet.
So at the end they're doing there's a 5-minute.
It's like an epilogue thing.
Yeah, like you're seeing a photo. They show you the real people from this situation, and they have text there and everything, and that's so the world's estimate, it's not just the United States, but the UN, other people that have went in to inspect the areas of the Ukraine and such for this devastation have all kind of added up the stories together, and their estimate was about so many people dying and then radiation poisoning and all of that. And still to this day, from the Soviet Union's standpoint to current day Russia standpoint, their official statement is only 31 people had died. Everybody else was fine.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Nah, that's not wrong.
But go and watch that show. When you're done, let's talk about it. If you can.
Yeah, I'm probably going to try and watch it this week.
There's some really interesting scenes in there that I'd love to get your opinion on. Finally, if you haven't seen it on Amazon, I finished it. It's 6 1-hour episodes of Neil Gaiman's Good Omens. Michael Sheen and David Tennant are amazing together. John Hamm's in there. He plays Gabriel. He's just the big stern leader of the angels, but he's also kind of dumb. He doesn't realize everything that's going on. He's like a mid-management boss. That he comes down there he runs things, so everything's got to go through him, and maybe he'll go and talk to God. Nobody can just directly talk to God. You got to go through him.
It sounds like a not as disturbing version of Preacher, in a way where it's just instead of them looking for God, just whatever we got to do.
I never read the graphic novels for Good Omens, but I know people who have.
Was it a book or a graphic novel? I think it was a book.
Was it a book?
I think so.
It might have been a book. You're right. We'll go with that. It was a book. I never read it either way. And I know people who have. And one person told me that this was as close to perfect as an adaptation of the book. Oh, it is a book. Yeah, that's what she said. Close to a perfect adaptation of a book that they've ever seen.
Okay.
Like it's almost 100% the book. And I said, oh, that's really good to know because I loved this series. I thought it was really good. I might even rewatch it because it was that good. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So I can't recommend that enough.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it because I completely forgot that I ordered a bunch of shit off Amazon like 2 months ago. And to save on all the money on the free shipping, I did the Amazon Prime to get like free shipping.
Right.
And then I forgot to undo it. So it's just been charging my account. So I have Amazon Prime. So I might as well just watch it.
Might as well. All right. With that being said, and that's the music, we got to get out of here. Let's do the plugs. Gittles, what do you have?
I have a rock.
To tie a piece of string around?
Oh, no. I was trying to go with the Charlie Brown thing. I got
a rock.
But I probably should have said it like that to make it make sense. Gittles Base on the Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, and the Twitch. I haven't started streaming yet. As we all know, I've been saying about my issues, so I'll have that set up hopefully soon. Hopefully in a couple weeks we get this all banged down rolling.
That's fine.
And that's all I got.
For me, iHeartRadio across the board on social media. And before I get to the show stuff, not trying to muddy the waters on both sides, but it's just worth me doing a plug for this now. And then both programs will just, exist on their own. But I started another program called Would You Kindly with Brian Johnson, our pal. He's been on the show many times. He was from AMC's Comic Book Men. He's in a lot of Kevin Smith's movies. He hosts a very popular program called Tell 'em Steve Dave, which is available as a free podcast and also a Patreon service. They provide a lot of great content. He does that show with Walter Flanagan and Brian Quinn from The Impractical Jokers. Anyway, so Brian and I are doing this show called Would You Kindly over on this network, Compound Media. So if you go to compoundmedia.com, you can check out visual. It's a TV show. Episodes of this new program. It just started this week. Episode 1 is done, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun, but it's a first episode. But I'm glad to get it out of the way because I think it'll get a lot easier and a lot more comfortable as we go through the rest of the episodes that are forthcoming. So if you can, go over there to Compound Media and check that out. And also, if you don't have a subscription, please subscribe. If not, you can check the first episode out on check all my social media. I have it up on YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber, you can check the show out and see if you like it. And if you do, maybe go over there and throw us a few shekels and help us out.
A
few shekels if you can. Back to the social media plugs for the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on all the social media. You can follow us there. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want to leave a voicemail to use on future shows, 651-SMITHERS. That's 651-764-8437. And with that being said, I think we're going to get out of here. So until the next time, everybody, be excellent to each other.
And have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
If you let them have me, I'm as good as dead. You know that.
I know.
Goodbye, old friend.
Goodbye, Erik. Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com. And remember to tell 2 friends, so they can tell 2 friends. And those 2 friends can tell 2 friends. Well,